afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to Poets Corner here on BTC-TV Channel 13 in Vancouver. I am your host, Ben Woestenburg. Yes, it's another day, another week. It's just time just flies. Sorry, I have to move my microphone. It's in the way. So I'm thinking I might be prepared. I'm hoping I am. Well, you never know. Anyways, I'm going to try and read. I'm going to be reading stanza 34 to 39 inclusive, I believe. Let me see. 38. Oops, 38. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's it. 34 to 38. Inclusive, as they like to say. I typed it out. I didn't type it. I got a printer. Sorry, I have to look up at the camera, not at my face. Sorry. Okay, so here we go with Childe Harold's Pilgrimage, Canto the First, stanza 34. But ere the mingling bounds have far been passed, dark Gaudiana rolls his power along in sullen billows, murmuring and vast, so noted ancient roundelays among. Whilome upon his banks did legions throng of Moor and knight in mailed splendor dressed. Here ceased the swift their race, here sunk the strong, the Paynim turban and the Christian crest, mixed on the bleeding stream by floating hosts oppressed. There we go. Oh, lovely Spain, renowned romantic land, where is that standard which Pelagio bore, when Cava's traitor sire first called the band that dyed the mountain streams with Gothic gore? Where are those bloody banners which of yore waved o'er thy sons, victorious to the gale, and drove at last the spoilers to their shore? Red gleamed the cross and waned the crescent pale, while Afric's echoes thrilled the Moorish matron's wail. Teems not each ditty with the glorious tale? Ah, such, alas, the hero's amplest fate! When granite moulders and when records fail, a peasant's plaint prolongs his dubious date. Pride, bend thine eye from heaven to thine estate. See how the mighty shrink into a song. Can volume, pillar, pile preserve thee great? Or must thou trust tradition's simple tongue when flattery sleeps with thee and history does thee wrong? Awake, ye sons of Spain, awake! Advance, lo! Chivalry your ancient goddess cries, but wields not, as of old, her thirsty lance, nor shakes her crimson plumage in the skies. Now on the smoke of blazing bolts she flies, and speaks in thunder through yon engine's roar. In every peal she calls, awake, arise! Say, is her voice more feeble than of yore, when her war song was heard on Andalusia's shore? Hark! Heard you not those hoofs of dreadful note? Sounds not the clang of conflict on the heath? Saw ye not whom the reeking sabres smote, nor saved your brethren ere they sank beneath tyrants and tyrant slaves? The fires of death, the bale fires flash on high, from rock to rock each volley tells 1,000 cease to breathe. Death rides upon the sulphury siroc, red battle stamps his foot, and nations feel the shock. Well, that was rather good. I like that. Once again, I gotta rehearse. It's new to me. I read it just spur of the moment kind of a thing. I'm putting my glasses on because you know why? It's time for Shakespeare. Shakespeare in the Park. Well, no, not quite, but you know what I mean. Going to read from the big book of Shakespeare, his sonnets. Sonnet number 5. Now, I didn't do any research on this. I can look up the notes. I'm just going to read it. I'm going to see what happens. Let's see. Shakespeare, Sonnet number 5. Those hours that with gentle work did frame the lovely gaze where every eye doth dwell, will play the tyrant to the very same, and that unfair which fairly doth excel. For never resting time leads summer on to hideous winter, and confounds them there, sap checked with frost and lusty leaves quite gone, beauty o'ersnowed and barrenness everywhere. Then, were not summer's distillation left, a liquid prisoner pent in walls of glass, beauty's effect with beauty were bereft, nor it, nor no remembrance what it was, but flowers distilled, though they with winter meet, least but their show, their substance still lives sweet. Oh, that wasn't bad. I don't have to redo it like I did the last one, remember? anyways, anyways, that seems like it wasn't very long, was it? Yeah, okay, well there we go. Poet's Corner, Child Herald, and Sonnet number 5. I did it. I could read more. No, can't do that. Can't do that. I just watched something the other day, 2 days ago. It was Hamlet's soliloquy by what's his name? Scott. Adam Scott, English guy, of course. And he was Hot Priest, I think. What show was that? I don't know. I don't watch it. My wife did. I don't watch a lot of television. I try to avoid it for some strange reason. I watch football. I watch sports. But yeah, it's like, and I'll binge watch a show. I do it just, so I can hang out with her because, sometimes I feel guilty because I'm up in the study and studying. She says I spend far too much time up here. Well, what does she know? That's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a writer. I write. Correct? That's garbage. That was my papers. Take these glasses off. Those are my so-called readers. These are my real glasses. They go with my vest, which goes with nothing. But that's because, well, I won't tell you. Yes, I will. I lent my vest, to my son, and he's yet to return it. What am I to do? What am I to do? Yeah, what am I supposed to do? You like that word, supposed to do? I worked with a guy. That's how he spoke. Said it all the time. Didn't know he was supposed to be supposed to. It was supposed to, and I just love that word. I don't know why. So does my wife. She uses it all the time. What am I supposed to do? Well, that's the way it is. Like, well, I don't miss him. He was toxic. But it is what it is. Life goes on until it doesn't. Did I say that out loud? Yes, I did. That comes from Living Through Steve, the brother from another mother. I'm still not going to tell the story because I'm not ready for it. Other people have already heard it. They all know it. Everybody's familiar with it. Yeah. But I don't want to tell it because when I tell it, I get upset. I don't get upset, but I weep. And I don't need to do that. I'm not here for that. Let me see. It's only 9 minutes. I have to kill another 20 minutes of this. What am I going to do? Nothing. I'm not going to do anything. I still haven't started my big poem because I can't seem to get anybody interested in following me. It is what it is. But this is, I think this is going behind the paywall, isn't it? Yeah, something like that. I guess. Yes, I try. I don't know if it works. Does it go behind the paywall when I do that? I'm just supposed to send it out to, well, now apparently 29 people because, I lost another one. There you are. But my numbers keep growing. It's like, what is it? 11. Let me check. Let me see. Can't have that. have that. Oh, there we go. 1124. Wow. 1,124 people follow me. Can you believe that? I can't. But, whew, okay. Let me. I'm thinking out loud. I'm thinking on the fly. On the fly. I was going to look and see how many total my audience, total followers and subscribers 4779. I've almost got 4,800 people. 4,800 people. I can't picture that in my mind's eye. I just have a hard time with that. Your session has expired. Oh no. Oh yeah, I know what I was going to do. I'm looking at making the Shield of Locksley into an ebook. Yes, I'm looking into that. I'm going to do it. It will be. I hate doing Amazon though. I don't like doing Amazon. I did Amazon with a couple of novellas that I put out, and so then I put one out, and I wasn't getting any feedback on it whatsoever. Nothing. And I thought, well, what the heck is going on? So for some strange reason, I thought, well, I'll just look into this. So I Googled my name, and when I Googled my name, a whole pile of things came up, and one of them was the fact that I had something free, a book that was free, a novella, and I thought I didn't put that out for free. Somebody had stolen my post off Amazon and put it on their own free site, and I got like thousands of hits on it, which boggled my mind because nobody did it before. So I think that was bullshit. But I sent them a little note saying to them, "Hey, you've stolen my story. Um, do you think perhaps you could take this down?" And they said, "No, we're not going to do that." And I said, "But you've stolen it." They said, "So sue us." And I said, "Well, I can't because you've taken all the money that I would have possibly made." So I sent a letter to Amazon. And 3 days later, the site was down. I don't know if it was me. I don't think it was, but I'd like to think it is. But yeah, they stole it right off the Amazon site. And I was like, wow, man, I was choked. I had like over 6,000 hits on it. That's more hits than I've ever had on anything, right? Like, wow. Is a ridiculous amount. It was just over a course of a couple of days. Yeah, so they stole it, and so then ever since then, I've been reluctant to deal with Amazon, even though they probably took the site down, whatever, right? But I just I don't like I don't like them because it's like like Standard Oil back in the old days, right? It's a conglomerate. It's just yeah. There's no competition. There's no you know. So I'm looking around trying to figure out where I can go. Looking about. I keep thinking POD, print on demand. You want the book, you just send me a postcard and I'll send you the book. It works for me. But not when it comes to ebook. Ebook is a little different, obviously. I can't give it to you. But I can also have that made into a POD as well. And we'll see. We'll see. But I have to go paperback because doing a POD of the Shield of Locksley. The Shield of Locksley is 514 pages in the manuscript. It's 256,000 words. It's massive. When you do it in a book form, it comes out to 750, anywhere from 750 to 780 pages, which is like huge, huge. And but I'd like it. I'd like it. But hey, I'd like a lot of things. I'd like to get my act together. That's for sure. I'd like to get my trilogies, my stories, my novellas. I'd like to get them up and published. I do the first three, the African ones. I'll just call that one the African Songbook, and then I'll put out the next ones. I'll call that Tales of the Vienna Woods. But they're all being called trilogy. It's just inside stories will have different collection names. I can't just call them Trilogy 1, Trilogy 2. I could, and I probably will, because I'm going to run out of names of what am I going to call them? In days of yore, things like that. I don't know. I have to. I'm still not finished my the novella that I'm working on, but that's because I've been dogging it. I got all the time in the world because I am retired, so I don't really have to worry about pressure. I have none. I don't suffer from any pressure. I don't suffer from what's that thing called? Imposter syndrome. I don't get that. I've been writing since I was oh 15, 16 years old, and writing seriously, like thinking I was gonna be a serious writer. And I'm a serious writer now, but like I never really got anything published. Back in the old days, you had to send something out and it would come back in 6 or 7 months sometimes. Sometimes it would come back in like 16 or 18 weeks. But, you'd send one thing out and you'd have to wait forever to get a response. And I always had the habit of, it said 5,000 words and I would write 4,980. Too long. They don't really mean 5,000 words when they say 5,000 words. They prefer 4,000, 4,200, anything up and above. They like, no, we don't want you. So I've always written long. So then after a while, I just went like, well, I sent them out and sent them out. And then I just like, I don't send them out. And then I didn't send them out. Then I just wrote for me. Just wrote for the sake of me, thinking that I would do something later, collect them all up into a big book and then send them out. That didn't work out. And then I came on the Substack. That that was a blessing. That saved me a lot. Saved me from, well, I got an email from somebody sending me a link to a story on Substack that I'd never even heard of Substack before, and I didn't know who this person was. It was just one of those random mailing things like spam, right? So I looked at it, didn't know what it was, looked into it, and it took me 3 days to actually decide that okay, I'm gonna check it out. So I did, and then next thing I know, I said, wow, this is the place for me, definitely, because the other place I was on, vocal.media, horrible place, so politically correct and so much censorship. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't. It's like all the stuff that I was writing. They go, well, that's gonna hurt somebody's feelings if you write about this and you write about that. I don't care about anybody's feelings. Like what the, like what's that got to do? Like grow a pair, man. Like whatever happened to it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like people say, well, you should put a warning out when you write these stories. And I say, a warning for what? What are you talking about? What kind of a warning? I'm gonna hurt someone's feelings. I'm sorry, I hurt your feelings. It's like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. The shit that I've gone through in my life, the stuff that I've had to put up with the guys that I work with, and like being the butt of the joke, I can handle a joke, not a problem. But like, my God, hurt your feelings. My first day of work, they called me gay. My first day, because they have a product out here in Canada called Ben Gay. So they would ask questions. Who made Ben gay? Like, oh wow, you guys are so funny. Yeah, my first day, and I was 19 then, and they called me gay. And then it was hey gay, hey fag, hey homo, all of those things. It's like you guys do know I'm not gay, right? That doesn't matter. What the hell? Yeah. So it's like people say I've hurt your feelings. It's like give me a break. Couldn't care less about your feelings. I don't write with the understanding that I have to be careful of what I say. Uh, I don't get that. I don't care. I mean, it might sound weird to say that, but I mean, like if I'm going to write something that takes place in the 50s, I'm going to write with a slant towards what it was like back in the 50s. Not that I know the 50s, but I know the 60s. I know the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. I know all of that. And that's when, that's when stuff started changing in the 90s, the 80s and the 90s, the 90s. Yeah, like people always go boomer this and boomer that. Well, okay, so I'm a boomer, big deal. we we had it just as hard as everybody else did, and they blame everybody. Everybody blames the boomers for the way the world is today. Well, I'm sorry, they left it for us like that too. I had the civil rights to contend with when I was a child, and the Vietnam War that I had to watch. It's like everything was on TV, televised. I mean, I used to watch them with their water cannons going down the streets and just, you know, blowing everybody with their water, just like down the hoses down. It's like, my God, what? And then the sicking the dogs on them. Oh, it's like disgusting. It's like it made an impression, just like the riots in Paris for the Vietnam War. And I always wondered, well, why are they rioting in Paris? Like, I don't understand what that has to do with it. Well, that's because Vietnam used to be a French colony, and so they were having the talks. They were having it in Paris because they made sense, right? Yeah, that was ugly too. It's just, it's the world's always been like this. Sure, been a little bad lately, but it's always like this. Every generation has the same issue. Always. It's like, my parents had the war. I had the depression. I mean, like, my parents, I am the youngest. Old, white haired, gray, whatever you want to call it. I am the youngest of a family of six. My oldest brother is 11 years older than me. So it's like not that much of a big difference. And at being the youngest, that's leaving, what am I, 67. So yeah, so there's a lot of shit that happened. I mean, my parents, my father was born in, my father was born at the end of the First World War, served in the Second World War. My mother was born in 1924. So it's like, yeah, they've been gone for just a couple of years. Well, he's been gone a little longer. She just died like 6 years ago. So yeah, it's time flies. That's for sure. Time definitely flies because now it is the end of January. Holy smokes! The end of January. It was just Christmas. It was just Christmas. Anyways, I'm gonna have to leave now. I have to go because I don't want to keep you guys too long, and it's going to be coming back next week, and I will be reading. I better write that down because I've already forgotten. We'll see. And sonnet number 6. Okay. And canto 39, I think. Something like that. 39 to 44, I guess. Something like that. Whatevs. It is what it is. So I'm going to say ciao for now. Arrivederci. And I will see you next week at the same bat time and the same bat channel. So for Poets Corner, I'm your host, Ben Woestenburg, and this has been BTC-TV Channel 13 in Vancouver. See you next week, and ciao for now.